you could only own one asset over the next 12 months, what would it be? It'd be Ethereum. Because it's the least risky with the highest rewards. If networks are valued in a certain way, then let's just go back to first principles. Okay, how is this network growing? What is going to derail that? Is bad news about Tether going to derail that? Highly unlikely. Is regulation going to slow it down? Well, I think regulation speeds up adoption. Well, they continue to show that, even Ethereum has been having more volume in certain days than Bitcoin has. The wallet address growth is faster than Bitcoin. In every way, it's outperforming Bitcoin, except in market cap. Because everyone tells me, oh, well, you don't want to touch Ethereum. It's a scam. It's a shitcoin. It's going to underperform. I'm like, once you tell me something like that, I'm going to look at it. If it's something serious. Well, my biggest bet, I think the biggest, clearest bet of all is Ethereum. If you say, if you could only own one asset over the next 12 months, what would it be? It'd be Ethereum. Because it's the least risky with the highest rewards. Because of the massive changes happening. I understand there's risk that may not go through in the format people think, and there's some other, questions being asked, and that's all fine and good. But I think probability is that you're going to end up with a reduced supply, massively increasing network usage, interconnectiveness of that network, and then you're going to go to proof of stake as well, which gets rid of the green argument. I think you're going to see institutional investment in the space. So I think ETH is the single bet that there is right now. Just trades like shit right now, so it needs to get some traction. But it feels like we're in for the double pump, the 2013 repeat. I started seeing the chart of Ethereum versus Bitcoin and looked like it was going to start outperforming, just a chart pattern and a hunch. And then I started digging into, okay, how do you value Bitcoin and Ethereum? So we've had the stock to flow model, but really what it was to me was also a network. And you use something called Metcalfe's law to value a network, which is basically a network has value proportionate to the number of people on the network and the number of interconnections they have with each other. So I could see that in Bitcoin, and you could pretty much prove it out by putting like number of active wallet addresses and the price of Bitcoin on a chart, and you basically get a very high correlated answer. And I could see people attacking anybody who talked about Ethereum or other tokens online. So I'm like, I need to find out how you price Ethereum, because I have a feeling it's exactly the same as Bitcoin. And what was interesting is I used the same mechanism and it's priced exactly the same way. But what was more surprising is the adoption of Ethereum was much faster than that of Bitcoin at the same stage. So I'm like, wow. And then you start realizing the number of things being built on it, the applications, the number of developers involved, and the speed of the increase of the number of users. So there's a lot of interconnections plus a lot of users. That was going to become very valuable. So then add a chart onto that again. Chart of Ethereum looked like it was going to break out, and that gave me everything I needed. If networks are valued in a certain way, then let's just go back to first principles. Okay, how is this network growing? What is going to derail that? Is bad news about Tether going to derail that? Highly unlikely. Is regulation going to slow it down? Well, I think regulation speeds up adoption, because then NatWest won't be saying, oh, don't use Binance. They're like, okay, fine, you do what you want, here's the rules. So it's very difficult to find a world where adoption goes down. And at this pace of adoption, it feels very difficult indeed. So I just try and stick to first principles, keep out of all of this, because everything sounds amazing and we don't know what's going to go to zero and what's going to go exponential. But generally, it's that network adoption model. That's the truth. Well, they continue to show that, even Ethereum has been having more volume in certain days than Bitcoin has. The wallet address growth is faster than Bitcoin. In every way, it's outperforming Bitcoin, except in market cap. I think we call it the flippening when Ethereum is larger than the market cap of Bitcoin. That's nothing to say that I don't believe in Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin is a different thing to Ethereum. Many hardcore Bitcoin believers think that all applications will be built on the Bitcoin blockchain. But I think that's more a hope than a reality. The reality is many different ecosystems will get traction for different things. And Ethereum right now has DeFi, NFTs, social tokens, all on it. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be money. The next part of the equation comes with the introduction of the EIC 1559 token, which essentially lowers the supply of Ethereum by burning Ethereum. And then there's the ETH 2.0, where we move to proof of stake, which again, will lower the gas fees, but also will lower supply even further. So it becomes a super scarce asset with massive use. So probability is it's going to do pretty well.
So it started, I've been involved in Bitcoin since the first 2012-13, and I get the value proposition. I get what it is. It's perfection as an asset and a store of value. And yes, it's still too volatile to be a store of value, but it's compensated by the fact it goes up a lot. So, we don't mind. We have to accept the volatility. But then, I was starting to become aware of smart contracts in about 2015, as some friends of mine started talking about it. And I didn't really understand what that was, but when they explained, I started realizing the future of everything from insurance contracts to legal documents to anything could now go on a blockchain. And that meant for me also, with my finance background, okay, that means all derivative contracts, which are complicated and messy. And we knew it when Lehman blew up, nobody knows who owns what. So I'm thinking, wow, okay, that's all the finance. Probably there's custody and there's clearing and these are a lot of things. So I was heavily invested, in fact, 100% of my liquid net worth in this, which is why irresponsibly long was the terminology. Although I didn't use leverage, so it wasn't that irresponsible. I've got income and other stuff, but anyway, so it was that.
Quite a lot. You're all in. You really are all in.
I'm all in. And then I started looking at the chart, because I love a chart, of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and I'm thinking, this looks like it's basing. This looks like it's going to break out. And this is how I do a lot of my macro thinking. I start with a chart, think, why is it telling me that? So then I start doing work about, okay, well, we kind of think we know how to value Bitcoin because we're using this stock to flow model that Plan B has, and we're doing all this stuff. Maybe it's something else too. Maybe it's network effects. So I start talking to people, thinking it through, and I start looking at Bitcoin in network effect terms, and it works. Metcalfe's law. So I thought, I wonder if Ethereum works, because everyone tells me, oh well, you don't want to touch Ethereum. It's a scam. It's a shitcoin. It's going to underperform. And like, once you tell me something like that, I'm going to look at it. If it's something serious. So I did the work, and it's like, not only is it getting faster adoption than Bitcoin, it's working perfectly in terms of price with Metcalfe's law, and it is almost mirroring Bitcoin back in 2017 with the kind of lag of the number of years, except the network's going faster. If you could only own one asset over the next 12 months, what would it be? It would be Ethereum, because it's the least risky with the highest rewards. So I could see that in Bitcoin, and you could pretty much prove it out by putting like number of active wallet addresses and the price of Bitcoin on a chart, and you basically get a very high correlated answer. It's very difficult to find a world where adoption goes down. Ethereum has been having more volume in certain days than Bitcoin has.